Welcome, everyone. Happy Monday. I'm the Grace Strega, and I'm here to give you your daily collective read for today, Monday, December 22nd, 2025. What do we have coming through in the cards for today? Can I please have the first two cards in our 5-card spread? First two cards we are starting our day off with today are the Knight of Swords in its reversal and the Fool card in its upright. So let's talk a little bit about the energetic shift that we're currently working through right now. We are moving out of Sagittarius into Capricorn season, and not just the fact we're doing that right now, but we have to pay very close attention to the energy that is effectively around this planetary shift right now. We've been going through a very prolonged retrograde cycle. This retrograde season has been going on for months. So what we've effectively had happen over the last few days is we've had several different planets that have come out of retrograde. That's a lot of energy moving back into activation all at once. To add to that, we're going through a Sagittarian season where we see a lot of different planets that were moving through that same house at the time that we are going through the season. We see a lot of those planets are now moving into Capricorn. So the best way I can describe this is and I want to explain this as well, because as we're going through a lot of this energy that's moving into Capricorn, we also have a lot of work that's happening in the emotional space with Neptune and Saturn having come out of retrograde in Pisces. So would not be surprised right now if you're working through the space where you feel like there's a lot of emotions that are potentially rising back up, potentially emotions related to the past, but being able to effectively put them into productive spaces moving into Capricorn. Now, the thing we have to be conscientious about, and I keep on talking about this, is the order that the planets are effectively moving into the houses right now or coming out of the retrograde do not feel energetically ideal. You'll recognize that we've got Mercury, Venus, and Mars moving into Capricorn. Mars is the first planet leading into that shift, which can often create the space by which we feel energetic agitation, right? That feels like it sometimes blocks communication. So making sure that one is able to effectively articulate upon how one has energetic feelings about things right now is going to be very important. That's what we see with the Knight of Swords and its reversal with the Fool card. Because when we are able to effectively convey or allow the context of our feelings to move us towards things, it allows the ability of being able to have effective communication and relationality to what it is that we're trying to do in a better fashion. What you want to be conscientious about, okay? What you want to be careful about right now are potentially circumstances or situations by which you feel like the emotions that get in the way of the ability to effectively articulate like how we feel about things. Now, we're also seeing at the same time that this is effectively the culmination of a lot of those moon relationships. And you'll remember that those moon relationships were the relationships that were coming together between the time of Uranus going retrograde in the fall up until the present. So for a lot of those relationships or those modalities or experiences, that ability to effectively energetically articulate upon what it is that one is able to do or how one is effectively able to energetically refine upon something. I need to point out these relationships, these moon relationships that are coming together right now, what's beautiful about them is they're amplified or articulated in relationality to energetic refinement. This retrograde season that we see that these relationships have been coming together in has been less than ideal, right? It's working through a lot of that energetic static, but that's what the effective prioritization point of these relationships are. That ability to effectively smooth something out or the ability to be able to identify and articulate what one is working on refining. So for a lot of these relationships, that ability of doing so and working through that energetic smoothness, I keep on seeing it's allowing a lot of space by which the energy is feeling stabilized. But the reason that they're effectively energetically stabilized is the fact that they're able to effectively navigate in relationality to how one is effectively able to know the self, or to be able to define how they are feeling to one another. What's beautiful about these relationships is I see almost no projection in these relationships. Like, that is what's so significant, is the space by which the energy is working on not projecting things onto one another. It's a lot of the space by which they're able to effectively identify and work through something in the space of being able to be very logically driven. And so for a lot of those relationships, working through those modalities or experiences and being able to articulate upon that, I just keep on seeing it's the energy that's effectively moving deeper into partnership. But not only are they moving deeper into partnership at this time, they're communicating to each other how much that means to one another, because it's the patience that they give each other that pays off in profound ways. Now, moving towards the energy that's moving deeper into divine union, these are those temperance relationships. Those temperance relationships were coming together between the time of these were the relationships that were coming together between Uranus stationing retrograde up until this solstice period that we had this summer. Center card for today's spread. We've got two cards coming through right now. And this is effectively the Page of Wands in its reversal in combination with the Six of Wands in its upright. Now, what we effectively identify in relationality to those pathworks is, and I keep on describing this, it's not that we're going through a Venus in retrograde cycle. I'm going to keep on saying this. We're not effectively going through a Venus in retrograde cycle, but the experience by which we're navigating something that feels akin to it. If you were to say to me, like, hey, how are you going to effectively replicate the feeling of a Venus in retrograde? I'm like, okay, stick Venus between Mercury and Mars, right? Working through those modalities or experiences. And even in this space, I want to point this out, even in the space by which we see that Venus is moving out of Sagittarius into Capricorn, it can often work through it's working through the feeling of not feeling the energetic best of the self, right? It's working through those modalities or experiences by which our distortion or the perception of the self sometimes feels like it's energetically distorted. But those modalities of experiences of effectively not allowing that feeling to get the energetic better of us, right? It's working through, like, this is what I keep on seeing when we're building into the pathwork of trying to be our energetic best. The hard thing about working through those experiences is sometimes feeling frustrated in relationality to our own progress, which can often create the space by which we feel energetically distorted. So working through, I feel like what's happening right now for a lot of those temperance relationships is building into a sense of reliability in the self. I keep on hearing, these are the counterparts that are energetically, they're effectively, they're encouraging each other through those energetic distortions that are allowing the space by which they're able to build into a heightened sense of clarity or a lot of compassion that they're allowing to come towards the self. But it's not easy, is what I keep on seeing. And especially, I need to point this out, like we've got like a lot of big planets that are sitting on meridian points in relationality to crossing over into different houses. Like, and I'll tell you right now, Neptune's placement right now between Saturn, and I'll just work you guys through this. We got Neptune that's sitting between Saturn and Ceres, which can often create the space by which we get mad at ourselves in relationality to past experiences, right? And this is something you have to bear in mind when we're working into the space of being energetically, working into the context of the higher self. That ability of being able to look upon the past and feel like one has notes for the self, that is a gift. Like that is a benefit. That is an energetic blessing because that is the space by which we allow wisdom to effectively articulate in terms of what it is that we're effectively working to resolve upon. And when we also have, and this is the same sense of intensity that you may be experiencing right now with the space of Mercury and Mars that is sitting between Venus. It's working into and I keep on getting it's working through the space of a memory and emotionality that allows for the amplification of what it is that we're working on doing better. So a lot of that energy that we see even now, and I want to describe this, like the intensity that we're feeling, this is that Page of Wands with the Six of Wands in its upright. So I want to keep on saying that for a lot of these temperance relationships, like that ability of working to energetically resolve through things, but not just the space of being able to energetically resolve through things, but being able to be proportional in relationality to effectively a lot to do and the ability to effectively prioritize as one is doing it. I just keep on seeing that that's a lot of the energy that is effectively like not allowing the overwhelm to feel like it gets to them, because it's the space by which they're helping each other break something down in such a way that it becomes easily more navigable or easily more digestible is what I keep on getting. And that's something really important in relationality to those temperance relationships, because for a lot of those relationships, I just keep on seeing it's like working through that intensity, but not letting the intensity effectively get the better of the self. Now, continuing, fourth and fifth card in our 5-card spread for today, we've got the Eight of Pentacles in its reversal in combination with the Eight of Cups in its reversal. So let's talk a little bit about this right now for those magician relationships, and recalling that the magician relationships are effectively the relationships that were coming together between the time of the solstice period this summer up until the time of Mercury and Venus stationing direct behind Neptune. For a lot of these energies right now, everything I keep on seeing is working through the space of being able to amplify and articulate upon what it is that one is able to effectively heal from. And I keep on getting, and the thing about this right now, a lot of those magician relationships are in the heart of healing. And the thing about healing is when we're healing, like I keep on getting, when we're working to heal through things, we also have to feel the space by which they're energetically dealing with it. It's like I keep on getting that it's navigating, and I want to describe this. Like I feel like there's a lot of frustration that is potentially arriving in some of those situations or those circumstances. But everything I keep on seeing in relationality to that is working through the context of effectively holding healthy boundaries upon something. And the space by which we hold healthy boundaries is articulating upon the energetic comfortability in terms of how we effectively navigate circumstances or situations. And I keep on seeing that for a lot of those relationships, or a lot of those circumstances, that conversation, like the ability to effectively conversate upon something or to speak upon something in a way that it feels like it's energetically clarifying, I keep on getting that there's a lot of those experiences by which they're effectively expounding to one another upon the energetic frustration point. And a lot of that, I keep wondering, a lot of that energetic exposition is, I just keep on hearing exposition that effectively articulates or secures an energetic position and relationality to something, which is the effective, I keep on hearing like the effective space by which they're able to effectively articulate or identify what feels like a boundary. And what's beautiful about this is a continuation of what we were effectively talking about in relationality to working through the experience of holding healthy boundaries towards things. Because I keep on seeing that with a lot of those relationships, it's a continuing of the conversation that our trauma, and this is why we always have to be very conscientious about our standards, our trauma loves nothing better than to masquerade as our standards, right? And that's why when we're working upon the self, we don't just hold energetic standards, but we articulate upon the reasons why we hold the standards that we do. And so that's what I keep on getting in a lot of these magician relationships. It's the space by which they're eager to effectively articulate upon what those standards are. Because I keep on seeing that they're working through the context of the purification point in relationality to speaking upon something, but also all being able to articulate upon why something is energetically important that allows them to be able to effectively work through or energetically resolve upon what feels like it's energetically healing to them versus something that they're energetically healing from. Now, and I feel like in a way, like there's almost like new relationships that are occurring in the midst of a lot of that work, because I just keep on seeing that ability to effectively articulate or identify upon that, it's them continuing on their own maturation process. But I keep on seeing it's the maturation process that feels like it's expansive because there's others that share that same feeling or that same energetic. I don't even want to say like I don't want to utilize the word like those that share the same agreement, as it were. Now, continuing to get clarification, moving back towards those moon relationships, clarification between our Knight of Swords in its reversal in combination with the Fool card. Can I please get one card to clarify, please? Ooh, we've got the Hanged Man in its reversal. So let's talk a little bit about what we're seeing in those moon relationships, because I feel like the thing that we're effectively able to articulate or identify in a lot of those relationships is effectively, I keep on getting the continuation of being able to effectively articulate and identify the easement point that they make for one another is what I keep on seeing. A lot of these relationships, and this is what I keep on seeing for a lot of the energy that's in solitude right now. I keep on getting the amplification of looking and I've got 3 different modalities that are effectively happening right now for the energy that's working in solitude. And some of it, I'm going to just work you through all 3 that I see. I see some energy right now that is understanding that conversation is energetically cleansing. The space by which you can effectively articulate upon something allows the modality by which work can be effectively found or had there. And so I keep on seeing that for a lot of these energies that are working in solitude right now, that ability of talking through their energetic feelings, I keep on getting the feelings, and even in the space, like I want to point this out with Knight of Swords there. Knight of Swords also talks to us about the space of like navigating our own energetic fears, right? Like I want you to look at this in relationality to the Knight of Swords and the Fool card in such close proximity, because when we're working into the space by which we're able to articulate upon our fears, right? It's the fears that we energetically hold that allow us to feel energetically confident about things, right? And I keep on getting what's beautiful about some of this energy that's working through these experiences right now is it's a continuation of understanding that like stoicism isn't about energetically white knuckling through something, right? It's not the ability by which we articulate or define upon something in such a way that we speak towards it, but we're not like willing to effectively confront something. And this is all I keep on seeing in relationality to those experiences. It's the activating conversation. It's being able to effectively express or expound upon something in such a way that brings a point of confidence towards it. So I think that there's something really, I feel like there's something really important there that we're seeing for a lot of the energy right now in solitude, because I'm either seeing modalities or experiences by which there are relationships that are coming together right now. And I keep on getting the modality by which they're coming together has to do with the amplification of gratitude that they're holding towards one another. And a lot of that gratitude that we're effectively seeing is a continuation of being able to identify or articulate to another the energetic relief that they feel in the space of being able to be vulnerable towards one another. But I keep on hearing like the vulnerability that feels like it finds a safe place because it's the space by which we're able to effectively articulate upon how much we mean to one another. And so I keep on getting that that's what I keep on getting in relationality to those relationships that are moving deeper into partnership right now. It's that fortifying conversation that allows for the amplification of gratitude in terms of being energetically patient towards one another. Now, at the same time, I see separations that are occurring in relationality to another person articulating or expounding upon their own sense of energetic readiness. And what we see with a lot of those relationships is those modalities or those experiences by which another person effectively explains to another. And I keep on getting this because this is a continuation of everything we keep on reading for every time Saturn comes out of retrograde in Pisces and starts to move back into Aries. Feelings don't effectively fix things, right? Emotions can sometimes feel like they become a burden unless the emotions have directions attached to them. So that ability of effectively articulating and being able to have those experiences by which another person is able to not just express how they feel, but also the ability of having the energy that feels like the emotions that work through directions. This often articulates how much work we've done within the self, right? Because if not, our emotions often feel like they're energetic projections, right? They push others away. So I feel like that's what's happening for a lot of those energies that are working through the context of healing from separation, because I can almost see some energy in solitude working through the space by which, and this is why often when another person comes towards us and says like, I'm ready to talk about my feelings, the gift of another person articulating upon their feelings doesn't feel like it heals something. It can sometimes feel like it causes more of an energetic burden to the self, because I keep on seeing that for a lot of those relationships, the ability to identify that a relationship is not something that requires breaks, right? It doesn't require us to effectively walk away from a relationship in order to facilitate the continuation of it. I keep on seeing that this is a lot of the energy that is working through that lesson as they continue to heal in solitude. And it's a lot of, I keep on getting, for a lot of those relationships, being able to identify and articulate the nature of that. It could be a space by which I keep on hearing healthy separations are occurring in relationality to another person articulating upon their own energetic feeling or their own energetic frustration in relation to that, but also in the space of like, I feel like it's a separation of someone effectively articulating upon the healthier choices that they're making as they continue to do so. Continuing to get clarification between our Fool card. And that's what I meant in relationality to some of the relationships. Like some individuals right now in solitude are going through both of those things at the same time. They're potentially building into a healthy relationship, right? They're working into the context by which they see that modality or experience of another being able to put that work in, right? The ability of refinement, while also trying to heal from circumstances or experiences by which another person is trying to come towards them at that moment and saying, I'm ready to effectively address my feelings, right? It's the understanding that healthy relationship is not just it's ready and steady, which is the modality by which we're energetically ready, but then we're also steady in our readiness that allows us to effectively get something done. Now, bringing us closer towards those temperance relationships right now, clarification between the Fool card, the Six of Wands, and the Page of Wands in its reversal. Can I get one card to clarify, please? We've got here the Two of Wands in its upright. Now let's talk a little bit about this Two of Wands that we're seeing, because for the Two of Wands in its upright, how do I describe this best? I feel like for a lot of those temperance relationships, the ability to effectively articulate to one another, and I keep on getting this, like there are so many wands here that we see that are occurring in these temperance relationships. That is a continuation of what we effectively identify that requires or allows for the context of healthy communication. And I just keep on seeing that for a lot of those relationships, that ability of finding healthy communication or working through the context of healthy communication, I feel like that is what is so, like, this is why those temperance relationships are able to find so much durability even while they were going through a lot of those retrograde seasons, because that ability of effectively being able to articulate, like, the significant point that we see. And I want to point this out. The main priority that we see that's happening right now in these moon relationships that are potentially coming together is a lack of energetic projection. What's happened for those temperance relationships was a lack of harboring, right? Not necessarily the space by which they hold on to something, but something that they're effectively able to communicate to one another that allows them to resolve it, like, just as quickly, is what I keep on seeing. Like, any frustration that comes through, they immediately work to heal it. So there's a little bit of that work that we see that's happening in those temperance relationships. And I think that one of the things that's beautiful about it is it's the understanding that they're not always energetically perfect with it, right? It's the identification point in terms of working to heal something, but not just working to heal something, the adaptability of being able to articulate to each other exactly what they mean to do, or exactly how they're trying to do something better. I keep on seeing that for a lot of those relationships, it feels profound, and a lot of that feeling of energetic profoundness is the understanding that they work for things to be profound between them, is what I keep on seeing. They effectively facilitate or work very tirelessly to try to create profound experiences, which is the modality by which they are patient with each other and they give each other the time to be able to do something in a way that feels energetically, I keep on hearing, like, that feels like it creates a lot of that, like a lot of that possibility, is what I keep on seeing. And there's something really important that I keep on seeing in relationality to a lot of that energy, because there's something I keep on seeing in relationality to that is working through, like, I keep on getting that for a lot of those relationships or a lot of those situations or circumstances, that ability of effectively articulating to each other or working into the context of helping each other through something, I just keep on seeing it's allowing for a lot of those modalities by which they're able to effectively articulate the enormity of something that they're going through, but not just I keep wondering, not just the enormity of something that they're going through, but being able to articulate upon how much they mean to one another. Now, continuing to get clarification between the Six of Wands in its upright, the Page of Wands in its reversal, and the Seven of Pentacles in its reversal. Can I get one card to clarify, please? We've got the Three of Swords in its upright. So let's talk a little bit about that Three of Sword energy, because the Three of Sword energy that we're effectively seeing that's coming through right now, and this is speaking towards those magician relationships. You know, the thing that we see with a lot of those magician relationships is working through the energetic frustration of the self. And I want to continue this too, because remember, we were seeing this heavily with those temperance relationships. I feel like I keep on seeing that a lot of those magician relationships are going through a lot of those experiences by which they're articulating or they're working to scrutinize upon something. And the reason I keep on seeing that they're effectively scrutinizing upon something is I keep on hearing they're scrutinizing upon the self, is what I keep on getting, right? They're working through something in such a way that they're trying to articulate upon whether there's something different that they themselves could be doing. And that's why I keep on getting that for a lot of those relationships, that ability of effectively being patient with one another, I keep on getting that those relationships are working through the space of not only feeling the energetic frustration point that they often experience or they navigate, but they're also able to articulate to each other the feeling of energetic frustration that they effectively share. And I keep on getting that for a lot of those relationships or a lot of those conversations that they're effectively having, that ability of effectively talking to each other through those modalities is like, I keep on seeing like it's working something out, but working something out in such a way that it feels like they're not like, it's like them putting their effective, like it's like them putting their effective boundaries down, but I keep on hearing they're putting their boundaries down in the same place is what I keep on seeing. It's like it's a continuation point of the energy that almost articulates to one another, that says that if there was something that they could be doing differently, right, that they would effectively do it. But it's a reamplification, and especially with these double eights in its reversal, like this is what we see with the double eights in its reversal. It's working through those modalities or experiences by which sometimes you just have to be patient. Yep, clarification with the Three of Pentacles. So, and I need to point this out, if you are a tarot nerd, like if you are a tarot nerd, this is exactly what we're effectively talking about here. Because did you see this? We've got the Eight of Pentacles in its reversal with the Eight of Cups in its reversal, right? With the combination of the Three of Swords in its upright with the Three of Pentacles in its upright, which is like, and I keep on seeing sometimes, and this is what's so frustrating, sometimes you just need to be patient with things. And the space by which you have to be patient sometimes feels like it is really, like I keep on hearing, it's a space by which we feel frustrated because we're looking, and I keep on hearing like this is a continuation of patience that is energetically met with progress, right? The ability of understanding that we're patient with ourselves. We're patient towards situations by which there's mutual understanding in the modality by which we recognize that we are being patient towards one another. So I feel like there's something really healing and restorative there. But what's interesting about it being healing and restorational is it's also a lot of energy that's just kind of working to clarify through things. But I keep on hearing like that space by which they're able to clarify through something fortifies them. Continuing to get clarification between our Hanged Man in its reversal and the Two of Wands in its upright, moving back into those moon relationships. One card to clarify, please. We've got the Ten of Swords in its reversal. So we gotta talk a little bit about this energy right now, because, and I want to point this out, like the thing that we see that is so, the thing we see that's so interesting when we're working through the energy that we're working through right now is, and I want to stress this, we went from having a lot of planets that were in retrograde to the space by which a lot of planets came out of retrograde all at once, right? And so it can be a highly activating energy. You probably are feeling this right now. There's like a lot of that feeling of energetic activation. But the ability of kind of working through the energetic activation so that it doesn't necessarily trigger you, but allows the ability by which one absorbs and like absorbs but doesn't, like observes but doesn't absorb, right? Like the modality by which we work through something, right? And we take that modality of patience upon something to allow the context by which we're able to effectively work something out. I keep on seeing like the one thing that you have to be mindful of is working through the fact that the energy itself right now is highly triggering. And the modality by which we feel highly triggered, but we don't allow the context of being triggered. We're observant upon things that trigger us, and we're able to effectively communicate upon them. I keep on seeing that for a lot of that energy, it's like it's working through. I even see like these moon relationships are potentially having conversations in terms of how to navigate triggers more effectively. And I want to point this out. This is either the space by which energy and solitude is working through that, right? Like identifying the space of feeling energetically triggered, but then being able to articulate upon what triggers the self, rather than allowing the effective trigger to effectively act as a hurdle in communication. So I feel like that's something that's very important there that's happening. And that's what I mean, because, and I want to say this, that's what I meant about this being like a time of energetic shifting. There are potentially conversations that another individual, like someone's having right now, in terms of working towards manifestation goals. Because again, it's a conversation that says, if you're moving towards a manifestation goal, like prepare to be energetically triggered, right? Because it's the space by which one understands that we move in accordance to what it is that we're working towards, right? And the space by which we feel energetically frustrated upon something, it's the frustration that effectively informs us. So I feel like there's something valuable in that context, because that's effectively the conversation that I hear those moon relationships are having, the frustration that informs us because it articulates upon the things that we energetically care about, is what I keep on seeing. And that is either the energy that is doing that, like that is the energy that is working right now in solitude by building into the space by which they're feeling compassionate for the self, or they're having that conversation as they move deeper into partnership. Now, moving towards the temperance relationships, clarification between our Two of Wands in combination with our Three of Swords in its upright. Can I get one card to clarify, please? Clarification coming through right now with the Page of Pentacles in its reversal. Now, let's talk a little bit about the Page of Pentacles in its reversal, because the Page of Pentacles in its reversal in combination with the Page of Wands that is in its reversal, and these are all moving through the center of the spread right now. The conversation that we often have in relationality or in proportionality to the space by which we effectively articulate or care for one another is what I keep on seeing. And that's what I keep on seeing in relation to a lot of those temperance relationships right now. Because I feel like for a lot of those temperance relationships, you'll recall that I articulated that the prioritization point of those relationships is everything is possible so long as the work is mutual. But the thing I keep on seeing in relationality to that is for some of those temperance relationships right now, and I'll keep on Neptune and Saturn, like in Pisces, moving into Aries, can bring up a lot of old wounds. It can bring up a lot of old anxieties. It can bring up a lot of those experiences by which we feel energetic tenderness. And I also need to point out, this is not helped with the fact that Jupiter is retrograding in Cancer right now, because it can sometimes speak towards the experience by which we get frustrated at ourselves because we don't feel like we're changing at the rate that we would aspire to change. But that's the thing that's beautiful about being able to track the journey of our own energetic progress, right? Like, that's the funny thing about it. We're always upset at ourselves, and that's usually the sign that we're doing it right. Is what I keep on getting. Like the space by which we're upset at our own energetic progress is the modality by which we recognize how much compassion that we have for ourselves, or working towards a space by which we understand. It's like how much we understand the energetic pressure that we put upon ourselves to heal in the modality of trying to move towards perfection. But it's a continuation of understanding that the journey of perfection is one that we have to hold ourselves gently. as we're moving towards our perfect, right? And this is often why we talk about the space by which we understand that perfection is not a destination, right? It's a cardinal direction. And that when those that are often trying to heal from perfection wounds, right? Like the first thing that one has to understand is, how do you heal from a perfection wound? You start putting compassion on it, right? You have to put compassion on it, because it's the space by which one works towards perfect that allows one to energetically heal. Because when you are working through the space of trying to be perfect and you're reaching towards it, you often become exquisite. So I feel like that's a lot of the energy that is working through those modalities by which they're healing, by letting go of the pathwork of feeling the need to energetically compare, but building into, I keep on hearing like, they're building into the space of effectively centering, like centering in the partnership. And I keep on hearing, even in the space by which they're centering in the partnership, it's helping them. I keep wondering, it's helping them with a lot of the intensity that we're feeling right now. Because I told you, like, the intensity you're feeling right now has a lot to do with the fact that we've got Venus tucked between Mars and Mercury, right? Which is the feeling of being hard on the self because you're feeling like one isn't where you aspire to be fast enough. In the same modality by which we experience the fact that Neptune is tucked between Saturn and Ceres right now, which is often working through the space of memories, right? The memories that sometimes distort our own perception of the self. So and I feel like that's what the energy, that's what the temperance relationships are doing right now for each other. They're reminding each other not to get over internalized upon things. Continuing to get clarification between these double threes that we see for those moon relationships. The Three of Swords in combination with the Three of Pentacles and its upright. Can I get one card to clarify, please? Clarification coming through right now with the Strength card in its reversal. So what do we effectively see with the Strength card in its reversal? The Strength card in its reversal can often speak towards, and I feel like this is what's happening for a lot of those magician relationships right now. And the thing about it is, I feel like for a lot of those magician relationships, working through the vulnerability of the self is what I keep on seeing, right? Like the space by which we feel energetically vulnerable is often the space by which we also identify or articulate upon how we feel like, and I want to point this out because this is the conversation that's happening right now for a lot of those relationships. It's the observation of the vulnerability that feels like it heals, right? Versus the vulnerability that we are healing from. And what do I mean in relationality to that? Because it's the amplification point that often, like, and this is why we talk about the journey of healthy relationship, is the healthier that the more that one is able to confront one's own sense of vulnerability, the stronger a relationship becomes. Because the space by which we feel energetically vulnerable, right? The modality by which we articulate to another upon that vulnerability, it's the work that we identify in terms of, I keep wondering, it's a work that we identify in terms of something that feels like it's energetically vulnerable to us, in the space by which it articulates the shape by which we care about things, versus I keep on seeing the vulnerability that often feels like, I keep wondering, the vulnerability that sometimes feels like it creates an energetic screen, or the ability by which we can't energetically confront something because we don't feel comfortable in doing so. And that's what I keep on seeing. What's beautiful with a lot of these magician relationships is I just keep on seeing a continuation point in being able to have the vulnerable conversation, right? Like, that's the thing that's so interesting about it, is I see the energy in the space of being ready for a vulnerable conversation. But the modality by which you recognize that the vulnerable conversation that you can have must be met with someone that simultaneously also aspires and desires to have a vulnerable conversation. I keep on seeing that that's what's so beautiful about these relationships is I feel like it's almost the modality by which they recognize that the connection that they have to each other has helped them find strength in their softness. But even in the modality by which they find the strength in their softness, I feel like there's a lot of that energy that is working to effectively resolve upon something. But even in the modality by which they're working to resolve upon something is I keep on hearing like their own state or space of energetic comfortability in relationality to like how they effectively heal versus how another person has them feeling is what I keep on getting. And so I feel like there's something really significant and important there because it feels like it's very much, I feel like it's very much a conversation that they're having towards their own sense. I keep hearing like a conversation that they're having towards their own sense of emotional vulnerability. And we can see that will often happen with Jupiter retrograding in Cancer. Continuing to get clarification between the Ten of Swords in its reversal in combination with the Page of Pentacles in its reversal. Can I get one card to clarify, please? Clarification coming through right now with the Sun card. So what do we effectively see? What do we effectively see with the Sun card in its upright? The Sun card in its upright walks us through or talks us through, and I feel like we're moving back into those moon relationships. The ability to effectively be able to focus upon and finding the energetic state of bliss. And I need to point this out. Like, this is the thing with, like, this is what I keep on seeing in relationality to the energy in solitude right now. So for a lot of those relationships, like I feel like I see 3 different modalities right now that's happening for the energy that's in solitude. I either see relationships that are moving deeper into partnership right now. And a lot of that depth that's happening right now for the relationships that are moving deeper into energetic union at this time is the amplification of energy. I keep wondering, like, the gift that they give each other is the ability to effectively navigate or recognize that the positive, I keep on hearing positivity is something that we create for one another, right? It is the gift that we effectively find. And it's not the space by which we look to each other and demand that sense of positivity, right? And often, and this is what happens, you've probably noticed this, when energy goes around demanding positivity, right? You don't find positivity anywhere, right? It's nowhere to be found. Okay, it's like anywhere you go, anywhere you look, right? When you're looking for positivity, you don't find it. But when you answer the call, right, profound things happen, right? When you become the space by which the positivity can arrive, right? It's like we stop looking at each other and feeling that sense of provocation in terms of being like, why isn't this person bringing me like a sense of happiness? But rather the happiness that we share with those around us. It's like it's almost like the space by which we effectively understand that we answer that energetic call for positivity by responding to the need within ourselves, by arriving into the possibility of creating it for ourselves. So I feel like there's something really beautiful about that, because that's what I keep on seeing for a lot of the energy right now, reaching that culmination of these moon lessons, which is the observation. I either see energy right now that is in solitude. I've got 3 different modalities right now. I've got energy in solitude that feels like that feel like they have arrived into the space by which they understand the modality by which they're working to cultivate their own sense of bliss, right? That's why I keep on feeling like they're not looking to another to give that to them, right? I also see that there's energy right now that is moving into deeper relationship with another with that same modality of articulating the relief that they feel with one another in the space by which they energetically prioritize and cultivate that in any way, shape, or form they can. I keep on seeing, even in the space, like that's what I meant with these relationships, having to go through this prolonged retrograde cycle, right? Like working through the retrograde, feeling a lot of the frustration, but then seeing each other effortlessly working to energetically resolve through a lot of those frustration points. And I also see that for a lot of those relationships right now, there may be some individuals in solitude that are potentially working to effectively heal or to effectively let go of a relationship by which they felt like they experienced harm due to the modality or the experience of another person potentially articulating upon the fact that they felt like I keep on hearing like the trigger, right? Like the space by which another person potentially articulated the fact that they desired to be in relationship, but then the experience by which one navigated the space of another who gets too triggered to be in one, right? The separation point by which another person feels that they need to take an energetic break from relationship, that can often articulate the fact that they're not necessarily in the modality by which they're navigating the sustainability of those experiences. So I keep on seeing that for a lot of those relationships, working through or defining upon that, it's allowing, I feel like it's allowing for a lot of positivity to emerge. It's allowing for a lot of clarity. But even in the modality by which the energy is working through that space of clarity, I keep on seeing it feels much like the space by which the energy is building into that viability point. And I keep on hearing the viability that's occurring in those relationships is the energy that effectively knows the self enough to be able to identify and articulate to each other the full expanse of how they effectively mean towards one another. So I keep on getting that this is either a modality by which energy is in separation, and they're almost articulating upon the fact that they're finding that steady and readiness point for themselves in order to facilitate healthy relationship, or these are effectively situations by which another person is articulating to another the modality by which they're stating that a healthy relationship is not one that is effectively demarcated with the need to effectively take breaks from it, thereby healing their own energetic relationship to relate healthy relationships. And there are potentially some energies right now that are working through that, both of those things at the same time, right? That's the intensity. Like that is the intensity that we see right now in the modality of Venus between Mars and Mercury, while at the same time we've got Neptune between Saturn and Ceres. Continuing to get clarification for those temperance relationships, clarification between the Page of Pentacles in its reversal and the Strength card in its reversal. Can I get one card to clarify, please? Clarification coming through right now with our Temperance card in its upright. So let's talk a little bit about that Temperance in its upright, because the Temperance card in its upright in relationality to the Magician relationships. The thing I keep on seeing with those Magician relationships is they're effectively working on the space by which they navigate what feels like it's energetically healing. And I keep on seeing that for a lot of those relationships, that ability to effectively articulate or identify the nature by which they are working to energetically resolve upon something, I just keep on seeing that for a lot of those relationships, that ability of effectively, and I need to point this out, like the Sun card with the Temperance relationship here is, I want to describe it as working through the context of having big energetic feelings about something, but not just having big energetic feelings about something, but working into the nature of the emotions that we bring towards things. Because I keep on seeing that with a lot of that energy of the Sun and Temperance card together, it's the modality of working through our own sense of energetic frustration. And in the experience by which we feel frustrated, but the modality by which they work to communicate upon things. I just keep on seeing that for a lot of those relationships, it's a continuation of being able to identify that the gift that they're finding in relationship is a profound, I keep wondering, like they're finding this like profound well of patience is what I keep on getting. But the space by which they're holding patience is the space by which they're holding the patience to the self. It's the space by which they're able to amplify and articulate upon experiences by which they feel that sense of energetic healing. And I keep on getting, even in the modality by which they're working through having those profound moments of energetic healing, I keep on seeing that it's the energy that builds into that sense of feeling very anchored in partnership. And I keep on hearing the healthy anchor in partnership that allows things to effectively be, I keep on hearing that allows them to be able to articulate upon something that would have previously energetically over frustrated them. Final card for today's spread between the Sun card and the Temperance card in its upright. One card to clarify, please. We've got here the Five of Wands in its upright. So let's talk a little bit about what we're seeing right now in relationality to the Five of Wands in that modality. Because the Five of Wands, I gotta stress this. And if you're a tarot nerd right now, like the modality or the experience by which one works through something of this nature, and you see these many wands coming through, I feel like the thing that we effectively articulate upon has to do with the working through the context of our own sense of energetic frustration about things. And the thing that I keep on seeing in relationality to this type of energy, and I just kind of like want to caution you about it, is it's projection central. When we see energy like this, it is effectively projection central. It is working through the modality or experience by which you feel energetically frustrated upon things. It's those modalities by which you feel that sense of wanting to, like, you know what I mean? Like it's a lot of that, and we kind of see this. Remember how I articulated that a lot of that Sagittarian energy that we were identifying, a little Sagittarian energy goes a long way. So and even in the modality by which we see Capricorn energy. So the experience that we're going through right now with these many planets shifting out of Sag into Capricorn at the same time that we're navigating into Capricorn season, it can feel like a lot of energetic pressure in relationality to working through something in such a way that allows one to be able to identify, articulate, or refine upon what one is trying to do in a better fashion. So I want you to kind of remember that. I want to say this right now, making sure that one is in the space by which one is, I want to describing passion. Like passion is something that allows us the modality by which we're able to effectively amplify or speak towards something that has a lot of meaning towards us. But when our passion, feels like it's not in energetic control, then often it can create those modalities or experiences by which we effectively articulate upon something. But then in the modality by which we're effectively able to speak upon it, we're not able to build into that sense of clarity. So I want you to kind of keep that in mind right now in relationality to this effective energy, because what we're effectively seeing that's happening is working through modalities or experiences by which one is able to articulate upon one's own sense. I keep on hearing one's own sense of the self, right? The ability to effectively articulate or speak upon that. It's a continuation of being energetically patient with the self. So keep that in mind, because that's the only thing I see with like a lot of this energy right now. It's passionate energy. It's having those modalities by which we feel a lot of energetic passion towards things. And passion is good, right? Passion is beautiful, but the ability to effectively articulate and identify the passion that feels like it has purpose is the ability to understand and articulate why we're effectively passionate for something. So allow that to effectively help you through some of this energy, because I keep on seeing like the only thing about it that I keep on getting is it's working through, like, I want to say it's kind of, it's punchy energy. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of that energy that feels like it's the experience of navigating situations or circumstances by which we feel a lot of energetic pressure. So make sure that you're navigating it with a sense of compassion for the self and for those around the self. Bottom of the deck on today's reading, we got the Lovers card. So let's talk a little bit, like speaking upon that, like in relationality to the energy that we see in relationality to the Lovers card is, when there's a lot of this energy that we see right now. And I need to describe, like, like when Jupiter is in retrograde and Uranus is in Taurus in retrograde, it can sometimes create those experiences where it feels really, really, really good, right? And we just have to recognize this. It can create an indulgence point in how good it feels to often work through, how do I describe this? Like tending, like over tending of the self is what I keep on seeing. Like the modality by which we work through navigating, it's kind of like a hurt so good kind of energy is the best way I can describe it. Like the modality by which we work to effectively heal from something in such a way that, and I want to describe this, like the experience by which we work to effectively care for something in such a way that it doesn't feel like we're effectively, like I keep hearing it's the difference between care and coddling, right? And how does one define the difference between care and coddling? Care is the amount of care that one has to apply to something in order to effectively allow something to effectively move into a positive direction. Coddling is when we build into the indulgence point in recognizing that there's something integral in all of us that loves being cared for. You know what I mean? It's like, ooh, it just loves being cared for in that way. So just make sure, and that's what I mean. Like, this is what we have to be very conscientious about in relationality to Jupiter in Cancer in retrograde, right? It's working through the space by which we're navigating our own energetic feelings, but in such a way that allows the ability to be able to find into that point that feels like it's an energetic balance, right? So working towards healthy harmony. So make sure that you're, like I keep on hearing, make sure that you're working through something in a way that feels like it's energetically harmonic. And I keep on getting the harmony that we work through is the space by which we understand and identify like what that feels like within ourselves that allows for the context of being energetically reciprocated. That is where we find that is our daily collective read for today. And I want to thank you guys so much for being here and experiencing it. Just a reminder, if you would like to book a private reading with me, you can do so on my site. Please keep in mind, if you book a private reading with me, it is a 2-step process. You have to book the reading, you have to pay for the reading. Please make sure you do both if you'd like to have that reading. Most importantly, please remember that I will never, ever, 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 ever reach out to you for a private reading. I will never DM you. I will never PM you. I will never slide into your inbox and tell you I have a very important message that only I can deliver. The only way you can book a reading with me is if you book one on my site. So I encourage you to do it there. A couple of updates before we move into personal readings today. First and foremost, I'd like to thank everyone who attended our recent class on the Judgment card. Our next class is going to be held on Thursday, January 15th at 6 p.m. PST, 9 p.m. Eastern. We'll be continuing our studies into the tarot with a focus on the World card. If you'd like to become a part of that tarot class program, all you need to do is head on over to my stack and become a paid subscriber. Your paid subscription to my stack is your ticket of entry into our live classes each and every month. You will also, as a paid subscriber, have access to as a monthly subscriber, have access to over 9 hours worth of material in the Tarot Church Library Class Archive. Now, it's not necessary to catch up. I'll be doing my best to give you an update on everything we've studied prior to beginning our next class, but the material is there for you to receive as you're ready to receive it. You'll also have access to a complimentary one-on-one mentorship class with me, where I will meet with you personally to assess where you are on your own personal tarot journey and give you the best insights in terms of how to utilize those classes to the best of your advantage moving towards your your tarot goals going forward. One of the things I tried to do in these classes was make them accessible to the absolute novice tarot reader as well as the seasoned reader. There's definitely something there for everyone. Don't let your lack of experience or your robust experience prevent you from joining us in these classes. And even if you don't become a paid subscriber to my stack, I would encourage you to follow me there to stay up to date on any new offerings or services. I also post my weekly newsletter there, which will let you know about my in-person events as well as my online live schedule. I also would like to invite you over there to learn more about a very special retreat that we'll be hosting in August. I would like to invite you to head over there to learn more about a retreat where we will be heading to the place where the tarot was first discovered to hone our tarot skills, but also to understand the culture by which the tarot first found a home. I'd encourage you to join me there. We'll be having a study where we will be traveling to Tuscany, Rome, and Florence to be able to study the tarot in the place by which the tarot was discovered, but also to be able to understand more the cultural significance of what allowed the tarot to flourish and thrive. I hope that you would join me there. I also would like to invite you as well, even if you don't become, just a reminder as well, if you would like to learn more, not only on top of my standard life path readings, I also offer mentorship classes. These can be purchased on an individual level or as a monthly series, weekly or biweekly as your schedule permits. Also for my students seeking more consistent weekly tarot support, I'm happy to offer weekly tarot insight packages. That is a package of 4 30-minute readings, again, weekly or biweekly as your schedule permits. Also, I want to let you guys know that I also offer dream interpretation readings, which you can purchase per dream or as a series. If you purchase the series, I would encourage you to start to keep a dream journal, as we will meet weekly or biweekly with that journal and utilize the tarot to understand the key themes and messages coming towards you in the dream space. I want to thank you guys so much for being here today and sharing in these messages, and we will do this again tomorrow.